All right, so this next section is just a different way of writing a radical, a square root or a third root or a fourth root. So it's broken down, so like this particular one, the square root of 36, they write it as 36 to the 1/2 power. So you're thinking, oh my gosh, how do you do fractional powers? It's actually not a fraction as a power. It has two parts. So when you're looking at the exponent, the top number is your power, and that bottom number is your root. And the way I keep those two straight is like roots, like the roots of a tree, the roots of food, any kind of plant. The roots are underground, and power, like most of your electric lines, come from above, or you can think about some other power coming from above. So this just means 36 to the first power, but then the 2 root, the second root, the square root. So these mean exactly the same thing. They're equal. So it's just asking you, what is the square root of 36? So this one is just asking, what is 27 to the first? Well, that's 27. But what's the third root of 27? Well, it's 3. Okay. Piece of cake. So then all this is asking is 64 to the first power. Well, that's kind of straightforward. But what it's asking is what is the square root of 64? Because if it doesn't have a index right there, it's understood, its default is square root, which is a 2. So square root of 64, 8. Okay, 25 to the 1/2 power just means the square root of 25, 5. Okay, then this one is asking the fourth root of negative 16. Now there are no even power roots of negative numbers. So this one doesn't exist. Okay, but there are, if it's a third power, there are odd numbers of roots. So this is just saying, what is the third root of 27? And earlier I had this little chart. So you're just looking down your cubes. Here's 27. Its root is 3. But this is not just a 3. This is saying negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, because 3 negatives would make a negative, so that's okay, is negative 3. So the actual answer is a negative. Okay. Now, this one gets a little strange because it's saying 64 to the negative 1/3 power. Well, earlier we talked about negative powers just doing the reciprocal. So what you're asking is 1 over 64 to the 1/3 power. And then that 1/3 is positive. But what does that mean? Okay, it means 1 over the third root of 64. Okay, well, let's see if there's a third root. So go down your 3's. Is there a third root of 64? Yep, 4. Okay, so that is 1/4. Okay, now this one is not negative, but this time we finally have a power in here. We have 27 squared. So what this means is 27 squared, but I'm going to take the third root. So you can do this 2 different ways. So there's more than one correct way to do this. So what I like to do is I like to make the number smaller, because yes, I could certainly take my calculator and do 27 squared and realize that that is, sorry, that might be a little hard for you to see, 729. I can do that. But it would probably be easier if I made the number smaller first. So third roots, so if I look down the cube, here's a 27. Great. So I could take the third root of 27, which is 3, and then come back and square it, and that would be 9. Or I could have had my 729 and then take the square root of 729. Oh, it's the third root, my bad. sorry about that. So the third root, I forgot where the third root is. Sorry, I don't want you to have to watch me mess with the calculator, but it's either way it would be 9. Sorry. All right, then this next one is asking, because the root's in the bottom, so it's asking for the square root of 9 to the third power. So I usually take the root first so it gets smaller, because I know the square root of 9 is 3. And then I'm going to take it to the third power, so that's 27. Okay, here's another negative, so all that means is 1 over 81 to the 3/4 power. Okay, so that's just asking the fourth root of 81 to the third power. Now it's 1 over that. Okay, is there a fourth root of 81? Well, let's see. Fourth root of 81. Yep. Come over here to 3. So I know that that is 3. Okay, then I'm going to take 3 to the third power is 27. But remember that was in the denominator. So your final answer is 1 over 27. Okay, I think I can do these quick enough. So this is 36 to the 1/2 power. It means the square root of 36, probably have that memorized, I would think, is 6. This means the third root of 8, which is 2. This means the third root of 125, and then you're going to square it. So the third root, if you're looking at your cubes, of 125 is 5. Let me see if I can move this up so we can keep it there because we're going to need it. Is 5, and then 5 squared is 25. Okay, negative just means it's going to go down in the denominator. So 32 to the 4/5 power. Okay, so I'm looking for the fifth root. So the fifth root, here we go, of 32 is 2. Okay, so that's 2. So it's 1 over 2, but to the 4th power, because I did the root first, and now I'm going to do the power. 2 to the 4th is 16. So this becomes 1 over 16. So that's a terrible 6. Sorry, guys. All right, then 84, that just means the square root of 121, so that's 11. That means the third root of 27, that's 3. That means the third root of 8, and then square it. So the third root of 8 is 2. 2 squared is 4. That means put it down in the denominator because it's a negative power. So 16 to the 5/2 power. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the square root of 16. So the square root of 16 is 4. So 1 over 4 to the 5th power. I don't know that I have 4 to the 5th power is 1024. Okay.